We're live? Are we really live? No way.
How come it doesn't show on this computer?
We're live.
Well, it's not on you. Why is it making bird chirping?
We definitely think that we're live. Can someone...
I'm like freezing my nuts off. That's fine. You can say that live.
Are we...
Well, I don't know, because you look the most
All right,
offended.
I still don't believe that we're live, but we're live. All right. It's a miracle. We are here. Thanks to Goal Zero at the Alex. Thanks to... We got the solar panels and the batteries all in the right alignment. We've got airplanes flying overhead here because we're actually at the North Base headquarters, which is right near the Oakland Airport. But we're really excited that we managed to go live, and this is your chance to ask Alex Honnold anything on Cedar Right. Alex Honnold's spiritual advisor. I'm just gonna talk the whole time. You guys will be bummed. You're not gonna get to meet Alex at all. Alex Honnold, here to answer your questions.
Alex has already lost his fingers from trying to type as fast as he can for like however long. So can we see the questions or whatever? We'll just start. Is this actually working? Because it's hard to imagine that's working after waiting this long.
Oh yeah, and you guys know hashtag ask Honnold if you want to.
Wait, so make the questions big.
Yeah, we gotta
make the questions bigger.
Yeah. All right, director. Maybe while we get to some questions, why don't you just let
okay, now we're talking.
Let people know a little bit about like your background, where you got started climbing.
He just said nuts.
Oh look, there I am.
Alex seems stoned. What the heck? Alex is never stoned. Alex has never even gotten stoned once.
That's
honestly.
Yeah.
Is it 40 degrees out? Dude, yeah, it is 40 degrees out. It's quite chilly.
Yeah. Have you ever gotten drunk?
I have never been drunk either. Kids, don't drink.
And
the thing is that when I deadpan like that, nobody thinks I'm serious, but it's true.
No, it's
never
actually
done
true.
anything.
No, actually, he's actually a monk. It's pretty amazing.
Okay, wait. I'll just start answering questions then.
Yeah. What do you think?
Am I going to try the Dawn Wall with everybody else? No. The Dawn Wall is quite hard. It's also quite cold outside, and I don't really like hard climbing or the cold. So there you go.
Would you trust Cedar in packing your climbing bag?
Is that really a question?
Yeah.
I would never ever trust Cedar to pack my climbing bag unless I wanted to go soloing that day. Because we'd show up and there'd be no harness, there'd be no belay device, there'd be no food. We'd be like...
There'd be gummies.
Yeah, there'd be gummy bears. Like lots of gummies.
All right, we've got one from Bears chapter from Instagram. And the question is for his hand in marriage or what got him into climbing. It's your pick. So either marry Bears chapter. I don't know.
I have a thing for bears.
Okay, all right. So yes, Alex says yes, he will marry you. Next question.
That's easy.
All right, with your fame, what is your least and most favorite part of it all?
Is most favorite even
I think,
English?
What do you like the most about being so dang famous?
Oh.
What do you like the least? Seriously.
I like airplanes. I mean, that's my favorite thing. No, okay, so seriously, I guess the best part is being able to climb all the time and being able to travel and going to cool places and getting to do cool things and like, you know, I mean, it's just the best part of the climbing world. I mean, my least favorite is maybe sitting in parking lots in 40 degrees. No, I'm just kidding. No, my least favorite, I guess, is just like the craziness involved with like having to actually respond to email and like keep up with things and like deal with things. I don't know. Otherwise, I would just be sitting in my van reading.
It can be awkward sometimes.
Yeah, it can be a little weird. Actually, maybe my least favorite is every time I show up at a gym and everybody is like, "Why are you here?" And I'm like, "I don't know, because I'm climbing in the gym." Like, "Why are you here?" Because you're climbing in the gym.
Yeah, it can be a little hectic.
Yeah, it's just a little like, you know, that's all right. It's more than worth it to be able to climb all the time. It's pretty much awesome.
It's not a bad lifestyle that you live.
Yeah, I'm like kind of shivering a little. I need a blanket.
Oh yeah, okay. So this is we get a lot of questions about how you get down after you climb something without a rope, or free solo it as we call it. And I'm actually curious, how do you get down after that?
How do I get down? Well, so with, yeah, throw me the jacket. I'll just put this on I'll just put it out over the top. Okay, so no, we're not in Alaska, even though it may look like we are. This is the Bay Area, and we take warmth seriously here. So generally I get down off things by hiking. You know, generally you climb to the top of something and then there's like a trail off the backside and you just hike down. Occasionally I have to down climb, occasionally I have to rappel. But you know, whatever makes sense.
That seems less pure when you say like the ultimate is to be able to climb up and over, walk off the backside.
Yeah, the ideal is to climb up a big face and then walk off an easy trail off the back.
That's a lot more satisfying than like carrying a rope. It's kind of like you're like, I'm soloing, but I have a rope.
Yeah, the most satisfying to me is to have like a small day bag on, like a backpack with just like my shoes, a little water, a little food, and then get to the top of the mountain, sit down on the summit, eat my lunch or something, and then hike off. That's like the best case scenario.
Maybe forearm massage from one of your adoring fans.
Yeah, because that happens all the time. I get my masseuse to meet me on the summit.
Whoa, what's Cedar's dirtiest secret?
Oh, we definitely can't talk about that. Can't talk about that on whatever this is.
That's a great question that I will not answer.
Even on the internet, you're not allowed to talk about things like that.
I like my climbing career. All right. Any funny portaledge stories?
It's kind of a weird. The other
From Dan
comment.
Yard. Dan Yard wants to know, are there any funny portaledge stories? Got a good one.
I actually haven't spent a ton of time on portaledges. I mean, mostly I've probably spent 4 or 5 different ascents of big walls, maybe 5, where I lived on a ledge, and nothing like too funny. My partner once accidentally pooped on the ledge because he missed the bag. Oops. We used some of the extra water to clean up the ledge. That was actually a very prominent climber, but I'm gonna go ahead and not mention that. I don't know. Yeah.
I remember this one time I was climbing with McNeely, and he was like trying to get the ledge set, and then he just like whipped off the ledge and he disappeared and his headlamp fell off, so I thought he fell off and died. I was like, damn it! And then he came crawling up the rope. He's all, matey, and he was alive. It was classic. Portaledges are awesome. All right, moving on to another question. What do we got here? Oh yes, Nicholas Contreras. Van life, organization, suggestions. This often becomes a huge problem in my life. You need to get it together, Nicole. Come on. But seriously, how do you organize your van?
My van is actually pretty well organized. I mean, I had a friend build it out for me, John Robinson from Sacramento, if anybody knows him. Very, very cool guy. But he built it out, and it's just all storage underneath the bed. I sleep horizontally, like across the van, and then all the storage is underneath. The kitchen is sort of in the front. It's all,
He did a beautiful job, actually.
Yeah, the craftsmanship now is nice. But this is actually the same design I've had from the very beginning. I've always had it set up with like bed lengthwise, everything under the bed, and then like a little kitchen in the front.
It looks great.
But,
and you installed solar?
Yeah, and I've got solar panels on the roof now, and a battery, and then a fridge, and then lights, and the lights are actually pretty good. Yeah, so I mean, it's pretty decent van.
Home sweet home. How many miles?
I have 170,000 on the van now, but I bought it at like 40. So I guess I've put like 130 onto it over 7 years. Mm-hmm. It's like quite a long time driving around in the van.
Yeah.
But
you love your van, don't you?
Yeah.
All right, and so van life is going to be coming out. Goal Zero is doing a bunch of pieces about different climbers' vans, so maybe check that out.
Yeah, so we shot a little thing about the van the other day.
Yeah.
It
was a short tour.
Yeah, very short tour. There's not a whole lot of rooms in the van. But, okay, wait. Christian Bale tips on. Oh, geez.
Ask Honnold. All right, West. Did Christian Bale's tips on free soloing for The Dark Knight Rises? You give what? I don't understand. Did you give Christian Bale tips on free soloing?
No. I think they're joking, Cedar.
Oh, well, I thought that was serious.
No, I think they're just joking that it was super cheap.
Oh my gosh, how long have you gone without a shower? Does Will Gregorish want to know?
Oh my goodness. I don't know, a couple weeks.
7 years.
Yeah, that's why I'm starting to look pretty rugged.
This is actually a skin.
Yeah, this is.
It's got a little lumpy.
I don't know. What's the longest you've gone without a shower? Like a month?
I've gone. I've gone longer than a month. Almost like 2 months. Yeah.
Okay, that's pretty gross.
It was disgusting.
Yeah, that's pretty gross.
I got a weird skin disorder actually after that.
I'm probably at like 3 weeks maybe.
Yeah.
But
it's not that sweet to go.
Yeah, it's definitely nicer to shower as much as you want.
It's like a cool dirtbag thing. You're like, I've gone 3 weeks without a shower, and you're like, well, cool, but it's kind of actually just gross. But anyways, first big wall poop. Tell us all about it in very all the details. What was it like?
Do you remember the first time you pooped? I mean, I don't know the first time I pooped.
Consistency of it.
It was probably kind of runny. I feel like it's often runny on walls. But
what is your thought on Bigfoot? Does he exist? If so, and what continent does he?
I do not think that Bigfoot exists, but I've heard many other people who are extremely convinced that Yetis or Bigfoot do exist in some form. I'm not that into them. Wait, while we keep doing this, should we double check? Like, is the audio actually working? Like, are you guys hearing us?
Is everyone hearing us? Everything. This is so cool. You guys can actually see us and hear us. This is awesome.
Well.
All right.
Okay, so this
this is actually a good question.
Okay.
Have you ever met any cool animals and cracks while you're climbing? Had conversations with them, perhaps? No, but seriously, animal encounters.
Yeah, so animal encounters. Like when I first started soloing way back when, I distinctly remember the first time my hand jammed and a bat like hissed at me, like super loud screech out of the crack, and I basically almost pooped myself back to the pooping. I was like, oh my god, and then pulled it together. And since then I've had lots of bats, lots of like mice and rats and
you ever see frogs in the crack? Isn't that cool?
Yeah, actually, so climbing in Yosemite, if you climb at night, all kinds of weird animals come out of the cracks, like these big millipede things. Those things, I've always worried that I'm going to step on one and then like take some 100-footer because you like blow a foot when you're lie backing or something.
That would be grand, or if you were soloing.
Yeah, well, that would be unfortunate. Dude, are you not cold? I'm like shaking.
No, dude, I'm not cold at all.
I got really cold sitting here for so long. I need like, I might pull my sleeping bag out of the van and just like sit here by my sleeping bag. Yeah, I'm gonna zip this.
I remember this one time I was in Africa and there was like all these bats in the crack, and then the sun went down and they all started flying out and they're like,
oh yeah, I've had that with the swallows or the swifts or whatever in the valley where they all come out of the cracks at night.
Horrible, all the cracks are covered in
Ooh,
shit.
wait, I like this question because they call me Mr. Honnold, and I appreciate that
Brody
kind of
11.
respect.
All right, Brody 11. I've actually heard about this guy. He's supposed to be a big-time dirtbag. Dear Mr. Honnold.
Oh, you know him?
I've heard of him. I've heard about him.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah, skier, dirtbag guy, I think. Can you relate the soloing of rock climbs to something else that you believe is similar to in terms of commitment, danger, headspace, etc.? Maybe to another sport. What is soloing the most like? Fighting bulls?
It's definitely not.
Figure skating.
I don't know. Definitely not figure skating. I would say that soloing probably is like somewhat similar to dropping in on a big line, like in Alaska or something on a snowboard or skis or maybe big wave surfing. Like, I don't know. The thing is that I can't do any other sports, and I certainly can't do any of them well enough to like relate. But I sort of imagine that you get that same focus like anytime you're doing something really serious. I don't know.
Yeah, no, totally. Big wave surfing, maybe. I mean, who was it? Hemingway said there's only 3 sports: pugilism.
Pugilism?
Yeah, boxing.
No, dude. You're just making that up.
No, he said that. He said boxing, bullfighting.
No, dude. It's mountain climbing, bullfighting, and auto racing.
Oh, there's no boxing. Okay.
No, dude.
Anyways.
Where do you get pugilism out of a Hemingway quote?
I like to use big
Yeah,
big
you just like
words,
to throw
mostly.
out 50-some
All
words.
right. Wild Orchids. Very strange name, but anyways. Who has been the most
Wild orchids, dude. Orchid.
Oh.
Like the flower. Dude, you're like retarded. Okay, it's influential climbers, inspirational climbers. No, not even one bit. But
Thanks.
no, influential climbers. Like, I mean, I grew up reading about the Stone Masters in Yosemite and like, Peter Croft, John Backer, John Long, just that whole generation of people. Even though Peter's sort of in a different generation than them, but definitely Yosemite and like the whole history there was like a big foundational thing for me. And then, I mean, when I was a kid, Tommy Caldwell, Chris Sharma were like the man.
Totally.
Well, yeah, I don't know. I mean,
how much do you
but
think?
I kind of geek out on climbing the same way everybody else does. I mean, I watch videos of Adam Onder climbing, and I'm like, whoa, that's so rad. It's like,
It's insane.
I mean, everybody finds inspiration like wherever they can. But
How much do you think that your soloing was inspired by guys like Backer or Croft? Some of these other guys that came before you who made a big splash in the soloing world. Do you think that you were inspired by them a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, I was certainly inspired a bit by like reading about other people soloing. I mean, particularly all the random Stone Master stories of like Yabo, like climbing some crack and then falling off it and then sticking the tree and then managing to like self-arrest and crazy stories like that where you're just like, wow, that's so rad. Like those guys were so
That's
badass.
When you knew you wanted to solo. You're like, you can just grab a tree.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's when I was like, yeah. But the thing is, I mean, that maybe like got me psyched about it. And then the thing is, I started soloing really, really easy routes and then really enjoyed it, loved the freedom of it, the movement, whatever, and then started doing it more. And then, it grew from there.
No, totally.
But it's not like I watched some video of like Peter Croft soloing the rostrum and was like, that's for me, I'm gonna go solo the rostrum. So note to kids out there, don't go solo the rostrum unless you've already climbed it. Well, unless you're really solid on cracks.
Just don't go solo the rostrum.
Well, I mean, the thing is that most kids now climb harder than I do anyway, so it's like at some point they're going to do stuff like that. But just make sure that you're really solid. Like really solid. But,
oh yeah, in case you didn't know, we are here at the North Face headquarters in Alameda, and here in the Bay. Who knew that the Bay could be so cold?
I know it's supposed to be nice here, California, but
I feel
quite
like this
chilly.
is good training for Everest. All right, so Tim Erickson, #AskHonnold. What's the best piece of advice that you've ever been given, and was it from me?
It probably wasn't from you. I I don't know. I mean, that's a
Seriously.
big
Best piece of
question.
advice.
I mean,
Well, I mean, it's maybe philosophical, like, you know what I mean? Like, always have a change of underwear.
I don't know. The thing is
Seriously.
that, I mean, you can't just come up with like, you can't like sum up the meaning of life in like 2 sentences, you know? Like, I don't know. I mean, for climbing, I guess, I don't know. I mean, the advice that I always give is like, you know, focus on your footwork, basics, you know, like all that kind of stuff. Like, be solid, be good at what you do. Like, I don't know. I mean, what's your best piece of advice?
My best piece of advice is like, you know, is basically find something you're really passionate about and focus your energy into that, because, you know, it's because then life's going to be fun, you know. That's
actually pretty good advice. Yeah, okay, you're way smarter than I am.
I'm a lot more inspirational than Honnold, except for with my climbing.
Yeah. Yeah, well, okay.
All right, so here we go. We've got Natasha Namova from Facebook, who wants to know, do you believe that our skills and behavior are written in our genome to some extent? Also, would you like to get your genome analyzed for something we can already do, like ancestry and probability of some diseases?
I feel like I've actually heard from her on Facebook before, maybe. I think she researches that kind of stuff, which is kind of interesting.
Lady. It's cool.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I mean, obviously, everything we do is written in our genes to some extent, because we have some predilection for whatever, you know. Not to say that, like, we're more athletic or less athletic or anything like that, but, you know, for whatever reason we enjoy exercising. I mean, I'm sure both of us, like, have different paths, but, like, you know, we both got into this for some reason, and it's, you know,
some of it must be
enjoy
genealogical. Some of us, we might have, say, the climber's gene a little bit, so to speak.
Yeah, or some collection of random genes that makes us enjoy being outdoors and enjoying exercise and respond well to it, and, you know, maintain a certain level of fitness and things like that, you know. I mean, obviously, like, fitness comes relatively easily to us, I guess.
And so, would you like to have your genes analyzed?
Yeah, I guess I could have my genes analyzed if somebody wanted to. That's you know.
It'd be interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. Actually, it's funny because I haven't even been to a doctor in like 8 years or something. I haven't even had a checkup. You know, it'd be weird to be doing like full gene work, like gene therapy. No, I don't know. I mean, like, you know.
You'd be open to
actually,
it.
So I gave blood a couple days ago in Sacramento. Actually, I gave platelets, but it's roughly the same thing. And to me, that's like the closest I come to like getting a physical, because they take your blood pressure, they take your weight, they check your pulse.
Today.
Yeah, and they screen you for diseases. So I'm like, well, basically I'm fine.
Cool.
Yeah, and I have really high iron. So there you go.
Oh yeah, and then just to let you guys know, shout out to Climbing Magazine and of course Goal Zero for putting on this live event. I want to thank those guys for bringing me out here and for making this possible. I know you guys are probably pretty psyched to hear what Honnold has to say. And John Bradbury wants to know, hashtag Ask Honnold.
I like this one.
Do you even lift, bro? He wants to know, do you train weights? I mostly lift weights at the gym to see if anyone has left any snacks underneath them. That's funny.
Actually, that's pretty much the only reason I lift weights at the gym, too. I sometimes move them around just to see if there's anything behind them. But no, I definitely never lift them for fun.
But this is a good segue into something that I'm quite familiar with. Tell us about Honnold Core.
Dude, I don't think we need to go into it.
No, seriously, tell them about Honnold Core. They want to know.
I don't think anyone wants to know, because nobody's even heard of it if they're not a friend of mine.
But now that everyone's going to know about Honnold Core is basically...
You're gonna blow the secret, because this is the secret to my first $1 million. I'm gonna sell a fitness book about Honnold Core. But now it's out, so I guess I can. Oh well, you're totally blowing the cover.
It's just. I'm sorry, dude. I'm telling people about Honnold Core, but basically Honnold Core is a rad little. It's like, what I like about it is it's a really quick hit training thing that you can do.
Yeah, actually, so Honnold Core was just my like 12-minute core workouts that I started doing this last spring, and I was doing them every day. Now I'm like just starting to do them again. Basically, it's whenever I get motivated enough. I do core workouts to, you know, try to keep things balanced, keep my posture good, even though I'm slouching right now. And basically it's 2-minute planks, 2-minute rests, and during the rest I do a bunch of push-ups and crunches and stuff. So eventually the rest becomes the workout and the planking becomes the resting. Anyway, it's like 12 minutes of like burning. But
and then we all started jokingly calling it Honnold Core, but we were all doing it because we were like, seeing Honnold seems to climb good. Maybe this is a secret.
Yeah, it's definitely not the secret. It just makes it core hurt. But I think it's good for you. I don't know.
It makes your abs look good.
Yeah, and that's the most important thing. Yeah.
Oh wait. Okay, what is it? Oh, yeah. Did this help with Sufferfest, the Honnold Core? Do you think that
during our whole Sufferfest thing, which is our big bike tour around California this year, we didn't even think about doing Honnold Core. I think I did it once, maybe.
We did it a couple times.
I did it maybe once in 3 weeks. So basically, we were so pooped all the time, we like didn't even care.
Yeah, we were doing Suffer Core.
We did start doing finger workouts though, on the door frames in the hotels.
Yeah, we did some actually
But
pretty
that's because
hardcore.
like doing a core workout when your whole body is exhausted is pretty hard, but doing a finger workout is pretty easy because like, you know, just because you biked all day doesn't mean you made your fingers tired.
Yeah, and then so basically, for those of you guys who haven't heard about it, we did all of the 14,000 foot peaks in California using only bikes for transport, and it was super easy, and everyone should do it. Slash, it was heinous. And I cut a short film, 18-minute film that you can catch at Banff Mountain Film Festival World Tour. And it's a film I'm very proud of, and I think we're going to show you guys a short, exclusive peek at a part of Sufferfest that has not been seen outside of Banff. So hopefully you guys enjoy this. I think it's pretty classic, and I think we're playing it now. Why? Just to really, you know, give yourself a heinous challenge and then try to pull it off. And it usually involves time losing its meaning.
How are we feeling?
I'm feeling real up.
Let me get a white stance here.
Yeah, okay, good.
Is this good?
Yeah, that's perfect.
What's worse than this?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Did I say it was a nightmare?
Sometimes you just get hosed.
I don't want to walk back there.
Well, I'm gonna leave you for dead then.
6 to go. My Achilles tendon only hurts when I walk, so that's good.
Oh yeah.
Here we are. Oh yeah. Here we are.
Oh yeah.
Here we are. Oh yeah. Here we are. Oh yeah. Here we are. Oh yeah.
It's actually kind of a crazy schedule. Like, we're really covering a lot of distance.
Total Sufferfest. Probably gonna be 16 or more hours out in the mountains.
But that's okay, because we get almost 6 hours of sleep. Oh yeah.
Here we are. Oh yeah. Here we are. Oh yeah. Here we are. Oh yeah. This is Alex cool. You just gotta put your head down. Do your best to accomplish the mission you put before yourselves. Oh yeah. If I was gonna do this trip again, what would I do differently? Probably take a car. Cheers, dude. Yeah. Hallelujah, man. I really.
Congratulations, you guys.
Well, it's not over yet. Just did some hollow core. You guys missed it, but we did a little mini hollow core session there.
Jumping jacks aren't really hollow core.
Oh, it looks like you guys are still watching the video, according to me. Are we live?
Are we on a delay or something?
It's delayed. Yeah, we're not there yet, right?
Oh wait, so we're live.
We're live.
Well, so give us a question. Give us a question.
All right. So, well, hopefully you guys enjoyed that little chunk of Sufferfest. I encourage you guys to check it out. You can also go over to Epic TV and watch short episodes of that Sufferfest video. And we're just gonna dive right back into more
Wait, here,
questions.
I'll just go straight to that question.
Hashtag Ask Honnold.
Mark Landenberger on the road, living out of a van. Well, I wasn't really in a van, actually. I'd stolen the family minivan. I rode that for like a year or two before it died. And then I was like seeing a girl and I traveled with her for like 6 months or something.
We're live. All right. Okay, it's good to be back. That guy karate kicked you in the 3rd grade. That was messed up, cheeky. Never do that again.
I don't think, well, whatever. Let's move on.
Moving on. All right. Let's hear some Cedar Bright soloing adventure stories. Well, I don't know, back when my dirtbag days, I lived in Joshua Tree, and I used to solo a lot. I used to just wander around and on-site solo all kinds of routes. I'd look in the guidebook, I'd be like, oh, it's 5'9", I think I can do that, and I just walk up to it and do it. And this one time I thought I was going up to 5'9", but it turns out I was going up this 10D slab, and it was super grainy, and I got to this point where I couldn't go up or couldn't go down,
And so you died.
and then I died. And then I got really scared, and then I went up, and then I made sure that I really looked at the guidebook before I...
Oh, you stuck it.
No, I sent it. Thank
wow,
God.
that's pretty good.
Yeah, it was horrifying.
That's pretty good. I had a bunch of experiences like that too.
I see now, this is what I like to hear. Intrinsique says, you guys are the hardest workers in America, and I have to agree with you. Thank you very much.
I'm going to respectfully disagree because we actually pretty much never work, but we do go climbing a lot.
We're some of the hardest workers in America. All right, and hashtag Ask
I
Honnold.
like to work a 6-hour week. I mean, it's pretty
Mr. Honnold,
pretty tough.
where is your favorite place to climb the U.S. besides Yosemite?
Ooh, I saw that question I think earlier when I was typing. I don't know. What's your favorite place in America? I mean, I don't know. Yosemite jumps out as like the best, and then everything else I'm just kind of like, nah.
Well,
I mean, I like Bishop a lot. I like
the desert. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, I like the creek. I like
in
the
and
desert.
Around. If I took that as an area like Moab,
It's too long
you didn't
ago.
like it because it was too hard.
Yeah, I know, it's way too hard for me. No, I don't know. I like tufas. I really like climbing on limestone. If you, instead of America, if you said North America, then I'd say Horn Lake in Canada. It's sort of my favorite sport climbing, maybe.
That's some incredible
That place
sport.
is amazing.
My favorite sport climbing in America is Spain.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Oh, this is a good question from Justin Williams. Why don't you have a chick with you in the van? Actually, Justin, there are 7 very hot chicks just out of you over here on the van.
Yeah, in between questions, we get our backs rubbed. It's really nice. It's pretty cool.
All right, moving on to another question. We have Climb On Bee's Knees from Instagram wanting to know, have you ever taken a big fall that ended with big breaks? Or, if not, what kind of encouragement would you give to those of us climbers with metal limbs? That's actually
That's a fair question.
That's cool.
So, I mean, I've broken my arm like 3 times as a kid falling off things, but that's compared to real accidents. Because those were all just, in a cast for 6 weeks, heal right up.
Just recently you took a big fall.
And then just recently I took maybe a 50-footer in South Africa and sort of cracked my heel or maybe bruised it. I never got it checked out, but we were climbing with an orthopedic surgeon who told me that it was fine and that, 6 to 8 weeks and I'd be fine. And so I've been like hobbling around for a bit, but basically it's better by now. And so, I mean, still that's not like a real serious, I've never had any serious accidents, thankfully. I mean, I don't know what I would say to somebody who has to get back into it. I mean, it'd be tough, obviously, because you'd have like confidence issues about that kind of thing, and you'd have to like get over the fear. And I don't know. I mean, I suppose it's just a slow process that you just have to like ease back in until you feel comfortable. And
I would say though that that our good friend Timmy O'Neill runs a great program called Paradox Sports, and he does a lot of.
Well, that's like if you're missing limbs.
Yeah, missing limbs. For metal limbs, as they're saying. So if you're missing a leg or something, and I've seen. We have a lot of amazing friends who are missing limbs and climb quite well.
Yeah, climb surprisingly well for not having an arm or something.
Some of them,
yeah, for
I know
sure.
a guy who only has 1 leg who climbs better than me.
Yeah, well, that doesn't take much.
It makes me sad.
Yeah.
From Stacia812 on Instagram, what's your favorite brand when it comes to cold weather gear?
Cedar, you can answer that one.
The North Face. Never stop exploring.
We're actually in the North Face parking lot right now, and we're both wearing about 5 North Face hoodies. So yes, they are treating us well.
Yeah.
But
we get a lot of love from them. All right, and for coming over at Facebook, hey Alex, what do you do when you have an injury and cannot go out climbing? How do you stay motivated, and what are you doing for it?
So I actually haven't really had too many injuries. I don't know. I mean, it's a little different for me too, because like if I feel injured, or if anything's achy or creaky or whatever, then for me it's almost better to take the time off of climbing and like let the injury heal, let my psyche kind of regrow, and then go back to climbing when I'm fully psyched. But I feel like if it'd be different for somebody that has a full-time job and like doesn't climb as much as I do, because for them it'd be important to like stay in climbing while they recover. Maybe, I don't know.
I've had friends who like hurt legs, and they come back stronger and stuff because they like do awesome.
Well, yeah, a lot of fingerboarding and stuff like that. Yeah.
If it's a lower extremity injury.
But I generally try not to fight it. If I'm like, oh, I can't climb right now, sweet, I'll do other things for a while and not worry about the climbing as much.
Especially with like a tendon injury or something like that, it's so important to rest it so that you don't just make it worse. Re-injure it and then end up with a worse injury.
Yeah.
Or whatnot. All right.
I'm actually still kind of hung up on that question about metal limbs and stuff,
Yeah, no,
because that kind of stuff is rough, I mean.
We have Bluebird Powder Day, and there, Alex, are you stoked in climbing the skyscraper building in Japan and standing on the top? You're gripped, right?
I'm so mortified. It's good. No, actually, I am surprisingly psyched every time I see a photo or something. I'm like, oh, super psyched. Just for the record, not in Japan, in Taiwan, very different countries. Yeah, it's an amazing building. It's super, it just like dominates the skyline. It's huge compared to the whole rest of the city, and it's like pretty cool. I mean, and the climbing is like surprisingly fun, and it's been pretty fun scouting it just to like, I mean, you get to ride up to like the observation deck with all the tourists on the side, and then play on the, and then play around going up and down. I mean, that's pretty cool,
And it's an inspiring objective. Like that's
what I mean. It's just so much bigger. Yeah, it's just so big. You're like, whoa.
What's the climbing like up there?
It's just pinching big jugs, basically pinching big metal frame.
So I saw some footage, and it looks like you're actually climbing on the arete of the building.
Yeah, I am. The thing is, you can kind of climb on any part of the building. It just changes the difficulty. But yeah, I'm mostly climbing on this like overhanging arete, super exposed, tons of air, beautiful position. There are even these ornamental dragons on every balcony. You can climb the dragon. You're like, that's cool. You can like climb this overhanging dragon thing. And then up at the top, it's like tiered roofs. So you get to climb out those. You can like cut your feet and swing around. I mean, it's pretty outrageous. Like, it's cool.
Yeah, and how hard do you think maybe it is?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, I think I said in an interview with Rock and Ice or something that at first I looked at it and was like, oh, that's like easy 5'10", and then I started climbing big sections of it, and I was like, maybe it's like mid 5'11", you know?
Yeah.
But it's somewhere in that like moderate mid range where it's like it's certainly not like trivial, but it's not like cutting edge climbing either. You know, it's just like it's that medium. Like it's difficult, but it's not.
It's not like so extreme that you're going to be like,
on
live television, just like, gah.
Yeah.
Everybody's going to be like,
for sure. I won't be
best.
like maxing out.
I know.
But
It's too bad because that'd be really compelling live television.
I don't think it would be. I think that'd be scary.
Oh, Paulo Perez, how many push-ups can you do? I can do 50,000.
That's a lot of
how
push-ups.
many?
I don't know. All I know is at different times in my life, I've done like 3 sets of 50 before bed at night. And then right now I'm doing like 3 sets of 20. Not that that's like maxing out, but that's as much. The thing about push-ups, for anybody that cares, is that like I go through binges where I do a lot of push-ups, but if I stop doing them for like a month, then I pretty much lose the ability entirely, which just goes to show that in normal rock climbing, you don't need to be able to do a push-up. No. And so I'm like, I've sort of decided that there's no need to be able to do a lot of push-ups anymore.
It's probably good for your oppositional muscles.
Well, that's what I mean, yeah, but I feel like you just need to do the bare minimum to keep your oppositional stuff okay. And then beyond that, you're just giving yourself big pecs or something. And I'm like, I can just put on this big old jacket and I got big pecs, you know. I don't need to do push-ups. But
all right, a little lighter fare here. Andrew McQuillan from Facebook wants to know, what is your favorite guilty pleasure song? And is it one of my songs?
No, I've never listened to any of your music. In fact, I generally turn it off.
He doesn't like my music.
I don't like your music that much. But I like you.
Luckily, some of you out there like my music.
I don't think anybody out there likes your music.
We had a comment. Someone wanted to know where they could buy my music online. But anyways.
Wait, but so guilty pleasure song. Actually, remember doing the bike tour this summer, you had just hung out with Kesha. And so we listened to a bunch of Kesha. That's pretty like guilty pleasure type.
Yes, I partied on a tour bus with Kesha. It was.
And so as a result, you got me into Kesha. And I'm not that into Kesha actually, but we listen to it a lot.
Yeah, it's a guilty. It's like bubblegum pop.
Yeah, it makes you feel dirty on the inside, but you still listen to it. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, so more about the bike tour. Like, what was the hardest part of the tour for you? Was it packing every morning?
There were many difficult things about the bike tour. Let's go back to real questions.
Well, I'm like, it's hard for me to see them until they basically, we have a dude back here highlighting questions for me so I can see them. All right. Is your girlfriend a climber? If not, does she understand how completely badass you are?
I don't think my girlfriend thinks I'm very badass at all, actually. But I think that's kind of the appeal. Yeah, my sort of girlfriend, I feel weird. My girlfriend, though she might not call herself that, was not a climber when we started dating. But now she's actually like pretty legit. She's gotten all into it. She's like, she's a really good runner. She's into it. Yeah, she's a really good runner. Yeah. And she's, a solidly moderate climber.
Yeah, she's a sweetheart.
Yeah.
She's like definitely the better half of that relationship. Anyways.
Yeah, well,
Hashtag Ask Honnold. Is Cedar a lifestyle climber or a professional climber? I bet you that's James Lucas asking that. But that which brings up the whole lifestyle versus professional climber.
Yeah, so Cedar is definitely a lifestyle climber. Anybody who takes more rest days than climbing days, probably a lifestyle climber. I'm going to throw that out there.
Oh, come on, dude. I climb at least like
halvesies? Yeah, close to halvesies, maybe.
Dude,
I don't know.
Man. Cut me
yeah. What was the actual question?
I don't know.
Cedar is a lifestyle climber. Yeah.
I'm a professional lifestyle climber. All right. Besides Facebook, reading, and climbing, of course, what do you do with your rest time? Yeah, rest day stuff.
I don't know. The last month I've started doing a little bit of yoga, which takes up an hour every few days. Not a whole lot of time, but we actually went to yoga today. It was nice.
Yeah. Partner yoga.
Trying to get into it. I'm hoping to improve my posture, but I don't know if that might not work out.
No. Anything else?
I don't really do a whole lot. Well, I don't know, but I also watch movies. I chill. I like, and now I do a lot of emailing.
Call friends.
Like, hustling on the internet, just whatever. I mean, it's work. Like, keeping up with folks.
This is actually the best question of the night. This is serious, cutting to the heart of the matter question. Why don't you have dubs on the van?
What are dubs? Is that like a speaker thing?
I can't believe you don't know what dubs are. No, it's like I think it's like a rim, right? Yeah, it's a really baller rim, like spinners, on the
Dude,
van.
I definitely don't need spinners on the van.
Some more serious questions going here. Oh, this is actually a good good question. What age did you start climbing, and what got you into it?
So I started climbing when I was like 10, though I'd always climbed on on other things, you know, playgrounds and buildings and trees and whatever I could. And then when I was 10 or so, I started going to the climbing gym all the time. And then, you know, just because my parents thought I would enjoy it. And then I kept going basically for the next, well, forever. Yeah, like I'm still going to the climbing gym all the time.
Yeah,
so
like 6 days on, 6 days off. Yeah, I actually started at 21 and it's kind of started before climbing gyms were popular, so I started on the beach. And I'm really lucky actually to be where I'm at today, considering I started so late. Well, that's cool. We got a question from Mike Lebecki, from my daughter. Shout out to Mike Lebecki, love and life, brother. Yep, Mike Lebecki is the all-time adventure, like, Shackleton of our day, total class.
The Shackleton of our day, because
yeah,
he leads his whole crew off into danger and then
exactly.
barely gets them out alive.
Barely gets him out alive,
yeah.
and then he eats all the food. He's a really good guy. All right, from my daughter, she just made up this joke. Knock, knock. Who's there? Alex who?
Alex Honnold. Ha ha ha. That's.
All right.
I'm sure his daughter is darling, but
Mike
I'm not
Lebecki
that psyched on the joke.
have good stuff to say. Juan Esteban Romero. What would you, wow, this is like that heavy. What would you do if you could never climb again?
Right off I mean, I've thought about that. What would I do if I couldn't climb? I mean, the tough thing is like the obvious answer is going hiking in the mountains or like backpacking and stuff like that. But then hiking in the mountains to me means scrambling and like ridge traverses and those kinds of things. And it's a very blurry line between that and rock climbing.
Totally.
Because it's like, oh, if you couldn't go climbing, I'd go soloing in the mountains. I'm like, wait, that's still climbing. But
Did
so
you become a philanthropist, maybe?
Well, yeah. Well, that's the thing is that recently I've been getting more into like environmental stuff and you know the nonprofit world and just like you know sustainability type projects and you know I could if I was like crippled somehow I could see going back to school and getting a real education and maybe moving into those kinds of fields.
Well, let's talk about that real quick. Let's talk about the is it the Honnold? I always forget Honnold Fund,
Honnold Foundation.
Honnold Foundation, and basically what have you done so far with the Honnold Foundation?
Well, so. Like a year ago, I started the Honnold Foundation, which, I mean, honestly, was just my way of being able to give money away to nonprofits that I thought were inspiring. So at this point, it's just 3 different nonprofits that I've been supporting. Solar Aid in Africa, Grid Alternatives in the Central Valley, and then the Center for a New American Dream. But basically, it's just a way for me to give money to things that I think are cool and that are making the world a better place. You know, and then the reason I'm doing it through the foundation is to make it slightly more public, hopefully inspire other people to maybe give money to the same causes or somehow do cross-promotional stuff with my sponsors or like tie things in, you know, tie it in with climbing trips. I'm not exactly sure. I mean, I'm 1 year in and I've sort of committed to myself that I'm going to put 5 years of like good effort into it and see where it goes and see how it feels to me. And, you know, we'll see.
No, it's
but, I mean, honestly, a big part of it is because I suddenly had the opportunity to like do commercials and crazy things like this where I get paid more than I should for like 2 days of work, like to a point where it's like not really fair that some people work hard jobs for long hours and like I can do something really easy for like a day. And so this is just my way of giving all that money back to like, you know, solar projects in Africa or something where you're like, well, at least that way I don't have to feel as bad about it, I guess.
He's trying to make himself feel better, folks. But no, actually, it's I can say that Alex
well, I mean, you know,
his heart's in the right place. It's really cool.
I say trying to address an injustice in the world, you know? Like, it's kind of messed up that, like, sports and entertainment and things like that, you can make retarded amounts of money basically doing nothing useful. And then other people who can, like, toil in poverty for their entire lives, you know, you're like, that's not exactly fair.
And you're a huge fan of alternative energy sources. So
yeah.
You think electric cars are the future?
Yeah, I hope so.
I'm thinking about getting a new car. He's all, you have to get an electric car or else don't get a car at all. And I was like, nah, I'm actually open to that idea. I think it's a good idea.
I just think you should jump into the future instead of, you know, living in the past.
You put solar panels on your mom's house?
Yeah, I've been trying to like do these kinds of sustainability things with my family, like one little project at a time. But we'll see.
And what would you say to people out there as far as that stuff goes? Like, encourage them maybe to...
Well, I would just encourage them to follow their own path through all that stuff, you know, because, I mean, there are tons of little ways that you can try to make the world slightly better. You know, I mean, you can, like, change your bank to something more local, more friendly. You know, you can, whatever, like, you know, with eating habits or, like, with whatever energy you use. Or just try not to be wasteful.
Yeah.
Like,
so eating habits, you've been a vegetarian for how long now?
Oh, yeah, I've been a vegetarian for like a year, but but that also is kind of a work in progress, you know.
Yeah.
I didn't really love meat anyway, so I was like, and it's an easy way to like lower your impact on the world. And so, you know, I was like, oh, I'll give it a shot. And so the last year, I mean, has been good.
And do you feel a difference as a vegetarian versus a meat eater?
I don't really, but to me that's good. You know, yeah. I feel good. I'm still climbing the same, and that's great.
Yeah, that's cool.
But
no, respect. Nice. All right. Oh, this is a good question. Do you speak any other languages? I like this one.
Some would call me a cunning linguist. In fact, one of the 7 chicks in the
band.
band.
Tell them about your mom. His mom only speaks to him in French in the house. It's classic.
Yeah. So my mom is actually taught like 4 different languages or something. Yeah. Maybe. Mother is quite the linguist, but and my dad taught English as a second language as well. So he worked with immigrants and people non-native speakers. And yeah, so mom has only ever spoken French to me at home. She like texts me in French. She emails me in French. So as a result, I understand French, at least to some degree, though. Or I just don't ever understand what mom's talking about.
You speak a little Spanish? You speak
yeah, my Spanish is extremely mediocre, but my French is pretty solid.
Yep. Nice, cool.
But I studied Spanish. I studied Spanish in school to be rebellious, but
fluent Swahili.
I do know how to say "strong like a lion."
Do you really?
Yeah.
Let's hear it.
Because I climbed Kilimanjaro with my girlfriend, and the guide taught us how to say we were strong like a lion, because we kept passing all the porters, and the porters would stare at us because we were like the only white people charging up the mountain that fast. And yeah.
What do you say?
It's like Amara Kama Simba. Simba, like from the Lion King.
Nice, that's
something
right.
like that.
Amara Kama Simba.
Anyone who actually knows Swahili should correct me, but it was something like that.
That's cool. Nice. Kilimanjaro. Good job.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, that's cool thing about Alex. Actually, for all the amazing stuff you guys have heard about him doing, there's a lot of weird, obscure stuff that he does that I think is pretty cool. He's
that's the stuff you do for fun.
Yeah, it's just adventure spirit, at the very heart of it. All right, we have a question from A. Havil. Alex and Cedar, you guys travel the world a lot for climbing. How do you find traveling to new countries and cultures impacts you?
Actually, that's a really good question that like totally ties in with what we were just talking about with the environmental stuff and like the foundation and whatever. Because certainly before I started traveling the whole rest of the world, I like didn't care as much about any of those kinds of issues. The environment, sustainability, whatever. Like none of it seemed quite as pressing, or certainly the plight of the poor, or any of those kinds of things that seem much more abstract. Because growing up in suburban California, it's easy to be like, oh, life is so great, everybody has it so easy. Like life is very comfortable. And then going on like a North Face expedition to Chad and seeing people living in like full-on dirt in the middle of nowhere with no access to clean water or energy or anything. And you're like, whoa. It sort of makes you realize that like a big part of life is just being born in a great place like this, Like I was just sort of like luck of the draw that I was born into like a, like a rich part of the world, yeah. And so that for sure has sort of influenced me in trying to like find some way to try to give back at least a little bit.
Yeah, I think once you start traveling to developing countries, you really it's
it makes you appreciate how lucky you are.
Yeah, you just start to appreciate things like the fact that you have clean running water, and that you're just basically not want for anything.
So I would appreciate like a sleeping bag right now, so I could sit inside like a down.
Even just to riff on that really quickly, like the one thing that really impacts me too is just like that even though we're so different culturally, I really do feel like the more I travel, the more that that we all have like these kind of basic similarities, that we're all human, and that it's just in the end of the day, it's just great to meet new people, and that you just find good, friendly people all around the world. So it's like people are often inherently good, which is like one thing I've taken out of all that traveling.
I actually totally agree. That everywhere you go, people are always like super nice, super helpful. There's always like a really nice local culture, always nice food. It's like, yeah, I mean that's the beautiful thing about traveling. I actually sort of wish that people in the U.S. were able to travel more and like see other parts of the world, so they could see, just like how nice other things are.
No, totally. But, yeah, you can appreciate like all the other beautiful cultures out there and beautiful people, and take a little something back and maybe appreciate your life a little more.
Okay, do you think anybody watching this will mind if we like do some dips or something for a minute?
Yeah,
I'm like freezing my nuts off. It's just like a little.
Wait, is this? Are we ending the live? No, we're going for more.
We're still going.
Oh yeah, but we just want to let you know.
It's like freezing cold, and like my toes are going numb.
This is brought to you by Goal Zero and Climbing Magazine and the North Face, and we just want to thank everybody for tuning in. And maybe we could do a live Honnold core a little later if we get really cold.
Hopefully, it doesn't get to that point. One of the beautiful things about Honnold core is that you often get so warm that you got to strip layers.
Exactly.
You pretty much always do.
Next thing you know, Honnold.
We'll be shirtless in the parking lot just doing.
You'll get to see the Honnold abs. There's quite the thing to see.
Don't get that excited about. Cool.
Oh yeah.
No, let's not do this.
No, this is embarrassing. Hashtag Honnolding. You guys may know what Honnolding is. There's the famous iconic photo of you back to the wall on Half Dome. And now it's becoming a little bit of a meme, which I think is actually I think it's like a compliment, basically.
Yeah, I mean, I think some of the photos are pretty funny.
They are.
But I have nothing to do with it. I condone this in no way. But I do think it's funny to see some of them.
No,
But
there's some good ones. I
anyway.
saw somebody Honnolding on a toilet. That was pretty cool. It was pretty extreme. Like one slip, you could be,
You'd be in the drink. Yeah.
you could be in the shit. Anyways, all right.
Have we considered teaming up to attempt the nose? That is a definite no. And do you know why? It's because Cedar Wright often falls off of things.
What? No, dude, I'm a good speed climber. We gotta take that down.
Well, let's wait for this plane to go by.
There's a plane going by, so just hang tight, and we'll be getting on to. I wouldn't really want to drag Honnold up the nose, anyways. He's kind of slow.
Yeah, it would be embarrassing for you to go that slow.
Nice,
no, I actually don't really want to speed climb the nose again for at least like 5 years or something, and then I want to train for it like hard and actually try to go super fast.
Totally.
We'll see.
Yeah. Set the record like solo or something cool like that. Is this? Do you want to answer this question? I don't know what the whole. Is that cool?
Yeah. Well, so the question is about
why did you choose not to climb the Burj Khalifa, which is actually the tallest building in the world? It's an incredible building, and you actually went and top roped on it.
Yeah. So the Burj Khalifa is an amazing building in Dubai, and I mean it is super inspiring. It's beautiful and it's huge, and it's really nice, but it's also really hard. And so I mean I climbed on it and I was like, oh, it's definitely possible, like I can climb it, but it wasn't like in that comfortable point where I could be like, oh, I can definitely do this for TV. I was more like, well, I mean, maybe.
Like you were like, maybe I need to learn to base jump.
Yeah, and then we went to Taiwan and we saw Taipei 101 and I was like, this is perfect because it's like just as aesthetic and like it's a really nice building, but it's also like a much more moderate level. So I was like, this is more reasonable for me to do, like, especially for my first time climbing a big skyscraper like that. I mean, it makes sense to start on something that feels comfortable.
It's reasonable,
as opposed to something that's like cutting edge technical climbing where you're like, whoa.
How hard do you think the Burj Khalifa is?
I think it's really hard.
513?
Well, so there's video of Alain Robert, the French soloist, climbing it with a rope, and except he climbs up this big corner system and he's like finger jamming in these little things. Well, he's finger jamming in the seam of the whole building basically, and then he's stemming in the corner. And I couldn't fit any of my fingers in. He's like quite a short French man, and he has like very small fingers, and he just like he can finger jam the thing and then move his feet. It still looks quite hard for him, but like I couldn't even put my fingers into the crack like at all. I couldn't do anything. So I was like, well, so I found a different way to do it that was pretty hard.
That's cool. It's finger size dependent.
I know, it's pretty funny that we're looking at a 2,600 foot tall building and we're like, it comes down to how big the crack is for your fingers, Yeah. I was like, oh man.
It's just like
this,
yeah,
it is. It really is.
Yeah.
It does feel just like climbing, where you're looking at this huge feature and you're like, there must be some weakness somewhere, and you're like walking around looking.
Oh, we got some questions about the bike tour. What was the furthest that you rode in a day on the bike tour? That's actually a little bit of a funny story because we got to like 95 miles, and I was like, we have to at least do 100 because I'd never rode 100 miles, and then we got to 100 miles,
and then there was nowhere to camp.
There's nowhere to camp, and we were like, oh. And then we like 5 more miles, and there was still nowhere to camp. And then we basically.
So we just like lay down on the side of the road.
We like laid down in a cow pasture. Like we got like a little cow patty for a pillow, and then went to sleep. It was pretty awesome. And then all right, then more. We're gonna do a couple of questions about the bike tour, which is really an amazing experience, cool adventure to share with my buddy Honnold. What gear do you guys have for your bike tour? Gear and setups. I'll let you answer that.
Well, no, you should answer that because I actually don't really know because you ordered it all.
While I was basically, well, let's see here. We had BMC kind of hybrid style bikes, so they were like flat barred bikes, but they were plenty fast on the road. But because we were going to be riding a lot on the dirt, we needed something that could handle dirt roads. And then we went super alpine style light. We just had like actually the cheapest panniers that I could find online. So I wanted to go
which
low
were
budget.
really ghetto.
He hated them. The zippers broke.
Well, yeah, we ripped the tabs off the zippers because we were like straining to get everything in. It was like super annoying.
Yeah, every day Honnold would complain about how hard it was to pack. And
yeah, because I was like, if you're gonna do like a month-long bike tour, why would you buy the $15 panniers? Why not go for like the $35 panniers? It's like. Anyway, just something to think about.
Get some savings.
Anyway,
going.
but we learned a lot for next time. Like we definitely sort of dialed our scene in a little better.
And we're thinking about doing another one this spring. Actually,
yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, we might be out there again this spring, like Sufferfest Part 2. All right. Anyways,
with less suffering and more fun.
Less suffering. Yeah. Now they know how to bike, so it's less entertaining. All right.
Actually, which leads us to another question about would the bike tour have been easier if we'd actually done some biking beforehand? And that is a definite yes. Like, if either of us had done any cycling beforehand, we definitely would have felt better. But, I mean, I hadn't even ridden a bicycle in, like, months.
It'd been at least, like, a month and a half.
And I hadn't ridden more than 10 or 15 miles in, like, a year or two,
Yeah, me too.
But, so then to suddenly get on the bike and do, like, 80-mile days, you're like...
It was brutal.
you know.
We both got saddle sores. Like
I didn't get saddle sores.
Really?
I just got knee pains.
Yeah.
But
my butt was blown. It was heinous.
Ooh, I like that. Anyway.
Oh, nice. This is cool because I've got a lot of love for the people down in Mexico. Have you gone climbing in Mexico? And that's actually an interesting question too.
So yeah, I've actually done quite a bit of climbing in Mexico. I've actually freed like 3 of the biggest, hardest walls in Mexico now, which is kind of like a freak random thing. But I've done several different trips to like Gran Torno Blanco, El Gigante, Potrero, and then some of the walls around Potrero and El Salto. But basically Mexico is awesome, and there's so much good rock down there, and it's all adventurous, and like it's cool terrain, and there's really good food. And yeah, I've been going down every winter basically, it seems like.
Totally. We're headed actually down there in January for a little bit, maybe a couple weeks down in Mexico.
Yeah.
Holland's gonna rope gun some stuff for me. Does Cedar feel jealous about your fame? I thought I was the more famous one.
Actually,
no,
well,
the
thing is that Cedar already has a hot wife who's a lawyer and who climbs harder than him, so his whole scene is pretty good actually.
No, yeah, my scene's good.
Until she leaves you.
It's even like in some ways, like honestly, like being as famous as Honnold is, it sometimes can kind of be weird and uncomfortable, you know. So there's like sometimes it's weird, you know. You're like in an airport and like there's some like random families coming up and wanting to like like
take a picture.
Yeah, take a picture. It can be like awkward and strange being so famous sometimes.
Yeah.
So I'm happy where I'm at with things, you know, and I'm happy for Honnold, and
the thing is, we both have exactly the same lifestyle. You know, we're both doing exactly the same stuff. We both go climbing as much as we want. We go to cool places. We go on cool trips. Like, you know, that's the thing is that, you know, neither of us really needs any more or less. Like, we're both doing.
I'm
what
really
we want.
jealous. I wish I was Alex Honnold. Damn it. No.
Well.
How did you guys meet each other? How did we meet each other? You sounded.
Well. So, no, I remember that when you and Nick Martino were trying to do Freerider or whatever.
Oh, that's right.
Remember? So, actually, it was kind of a classic story. This is the first time I remember meeting Cedar. But I was rappelling into the Salate head wall, which is like 2,700 feet up El Cap. And I was I didn't even have a rope sponsor yet or anything. I didn't have anything. And so I had all my old lead lines tied together. I had 600 feet of old rope, like, so a big bungee cord, basically, that I'd rappel down to the Salate head wall. And then Cedar was climbing with another buddy of ours, Nick Martino, and he was below the Salate, like trying to traverse around the corner on Freerider. And what was it, Nick that fell off, or you that fell off?
Nick fell off.
Somebody fell off in the middle of a traverse, and I was like, oh, I'll swing you the end of my rope. You can clip in, you can swing back to your anchor, and it'll save you a bunch of energy. Anyway, because they were all dynamic lines, when he clipped in, it pulled me below the Salate head wall. It pulled both of us into this epic swinging, like, boing. And basically, we almost shit ourselves, because it's, like, really scary to do, like, a huge swing that high off the ground. And then, anyway, but I just remember that, because I was like, it was, like, a traumatizing experience for me.
Totally.
And I was like, note to self, I need static ropes.
It's a learning experience. I'm a teacher. Yeah,
I feel like I should shout out New England Ropes, who actually have been providing lots of nice ropes for me ever since then. And now on static ropes, much, much nicer.
Yeah, totally.
Because wrapping in on retired lead lines is so scary.
It's actually dangerous even.
Well, yeah, it's just really scary.
They could saw on edges because they're like all dynamic and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. You're all bouncing up and down, and you're like, oh.
But I guess how long ago was it we met?
That was like probably 7 years ago or something, or 6, at least 7, 8.
Yeah,
it's quite a long time.
Like 35 years ago.
Yeah.
Before Honnold was born.
I think Cedar at this point is so old, it's hard to tell.
Oh, what? No, but and Honnold's kind of reputation preceded him. He was starting to do some pretty cool like stuff. He had climbed Freerider super fast, and I was like, who is this kid?
I don't actually remember where that was in the sequence of things, but anyway. All right, moving on. Questions.
Yeah, totally. All right, Mr. Honnold, have you ice climbed free solo?
So funny enough, I've ice climbed twice, 3 times, and one of them was free solo. But I had 2 of my friends, Renan and Freddie Wilkinson, right next to me. Or not Freddie. That was in Alaska with Freddie. Renan and Matt Irving in Salt Lake, on either side of me, basically saying like, "Okay, you're doing great. You're not gonna fall and die." And so it was fine. It was like water ice 3 or something, like an easy way to learn. And then this summer I went to Alaska and did some bigger. It wasn't ice climbing, but it was like snow climbing. I felt like it was kind of serious. I don't know.
No, it's kind of hardcore. You guys
Freddie,
climbed Mount Dickey and stuff.
Yeah, we climbed a bunch of big things.
Yeah.
But anyway.
He shredded the gnar out there. It was pretty cool.
Yeah.
All right, from Andrew Smith. Do you enjoy getting people into climbing? I started after Nat Geo issue, so thanks. You're welcome. I'm assuming that was my full-page spread in Nat Geo.
Oh, yeah, that's true. You had the fold-out spread in Nat Geo. I bet he doesn't even remember that.
He
probably tore those pages out.
I ripped out that page and used it for toilet paper.
Yeah.
All right. But seriously, do you enjoy inspiring people?
Well, I don't know. Do you enjoy inspiring people?
Of course, yeah. No, I enjoy it. Yeah, no, I enjoy if they want to, you know.
I would say I enjoy anybody who's psyched. You
Yeah.
know, like, so anybody who gets into climbing is like enthused about it, then yeah, I'm psyched for that.
Totally. Yeah. No,
I mean, you know, I think we both feed off other people's enthusiasm. So like you see, I'm sure everybody does that to some extent. If you see someone in the gym who's like really enthused about climbing, you know, it's hard not to be like, that's great. You know, like I'm psyched you're into it.
And I was really lucky to have like some mentors or de-mentors, as you might call them, like Stanley early on in my climbing, who taught me like, you know, who took me soloing when I'd been like climbing for like a week and stuff. But honestly, those people really, you know, molded me and helped me to, you know, become the climber I am today. So I'm always psyched to try to help others out, you know, and you know, to be that mentor a little bit too. And oh, this is all right. Which one are we gonna do? All right, yeah. Okay, so Karen 13, no disrespect meant at all. But I always get the feeling that you hate the limelight. Do you ever wish you could go back to not being a climbing god?
That question is obviously not for you, huh?
I love the limelight.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I don't know. I wouldn't say that I hate the limelight. I would just say that, yeah, I definitely don't hate it. I get a little tired sometimes. And, but the thing is, I mean, you know, if I really hated the limelight, I could have not become a pro climber, you know, because I mean, obviously the things that I've climbed have contributed to that, to becoming a pro climber, but a big part of like being a professional is just like responding to email and getting back to people and actually like doing the photo shoots and, you know, things like this and actually showing up on time for things and like being, you know, being professional about it.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, if I actually hated this whole scene, I just wouldn't do it, you know? But no, but for me, it's awesome. Like, it's a very good trade-off being able to time and do this. And
it's a great lifestyle.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's awesome.
I mean, this is the hard work right now that we're doing.
Yeah, I will say my toes are quite cold, so I mean, I feel like I'm working pretty hard. No, I mean, this is like so casual. I'm hanging out with friends, chit-chatting about rock climbing, you know, and if this is the hardest work I have to do, I mean, I can't think of a better way to go climbing. No, you know, it's like totally. This is awesome.
And you get it. The great thing is that you get to inspire people. I think you've inspired a lot of people to climb because of your wide reach and because of your fame. So I think it's like a tremendous gift. And I think Alex is using it really well, you know. He's using it to inspire people to, you know, get out there and be a little more philanthropic, you know, maybe to get into solar and all these good things. So what I appreciate about Alex is that he's using some of this notoriety to actually do something good with it, you know, and to inspire people in a positive way. And so, you know, it's good to have people like Alex who are famous as opposed to like another famous douchebag who only cares about pulling on the next crimper or whatever. So.
But though, really, are there any climbers like that? I mean, there are plenty of like professional football players or something who only care about bling. But like, I mean, most climbers are fairly conscientious. I mean, I think because climbing in general forces you to travel so much that you see so much of the world that it's hard not to be conscientious as a climber, I think.
I think you're right. No, on average, I think you could name a few exceptions to that rule.
Maybe,
right?
But like, I think more than most sports, I think climbing exposes you to the world around you, and you know, and that just like opens your eyes to things, you know.
No, totally. Yeah, just being like in a place like Yosemite, you know, and just seeing the environment kind of like does open your eyes and inspire.
I mean, like if you're playing in the NBA, like it's pretty easy to live a pretty sheltered life in a way where you're just going to city, hanging out with your bros, and like living a full-on like rich, you know, like urban lifestyle.
Yeah.
And like you're never going to be exposed to like third world poverty or anything like that unless you actively seek it out. But like with climbing, I mean, you just have to travel through all these places, so like you see all kinds of things.
Yeah, you're kind of exposed. I think the other thing about climbing too is because it's often a partnerships sport. You know, you kind of like you develop these partnerships and like you develop these relationships, and so it's not, you know, climbing is not, you know, even though Alex is a soloist, he does like what percentage of your climbing is solo versus rope climbing?
Probably like 5%.
5% solo.
Yeah.
So most of the time.
Yeah. So like almost all the time I'm climbing with friends.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and so I think that's part of it with climbing is that it's you know, it's a partnership sport, and so we like, you know, our friendships and our partnerships are really important if we want to do what we love, which is to climb. So this is an interesting question. Who is a better coach, you or Cedar? I would say definitely me. I would guess that you disagree.
I've always felt like a horrible coach, because just because you know how to do something doesn't mean you know how to teach other people to do it. And I've always found that teaching comes hard to me. Yeah. But now I've actually done a fair amount of like clinics and teaching and stuff like that, and so I feel like I'm an okay teacher, you know, for like trad climbing or how to crack climb, things like that.
I think I'm pretty good. But I'm pretty good at you know, talking like first time climbers like through the basics and stuff, so I'm good in that respect. Yeah. I'd say you're actually pretty good with like the whole motivational side of things, though. You know what I mean? Maybe. You're like let's do Honnold core, and I'm like, I'm gassy.
Yeah. I'm gassy.
I'm gassy, and then you're like, we're doing it. I'm like, all right, Honnold's doing it, I'll do it. Oh, this is a question I've been dying to know about. And as soon as this airplane gets done ripping through the sky, we're going to ask the question. God, it is a low-flying, like I could practically touch the wheels that flew past. All right, anyways. What this person wants to know is, can you tell us a little bit about your super sexy ESPN shoot? What was up with that baby oil?
It's not baby oil.
No?
It's spray-on sunscreen. Oh. Apparently, that's the photographer's trade secret. If you spray somebody down with sunscreen, it gives them a little pop. But I don't know. They contacted me to see if I want to do the body shot or whatever it's called. They do it.
Body issue.
No, it's not the body issue. The body issue is the whole magazine. The body shot is like the weekly shot in each magazine. You know.
Cool.
Anyway, and so I showed up and. I didn't even know what to expect exactly. I think I was like, all right, put these on. They gave me these little Speedo things, and he was like, you can keep your board shorts on if you want. And so I put on a little Speedo, and I was like, whoa, definitely need to keep the board shorts on. I was like, geez, I felt like it was like laminated to my junk. And so then we did like an hour and a half photo shoot with my board shorts, but he had to like crop around my board shorts because they have to keep like continuity throughout the series, so you have to be in the black, the black shorts. And then after a while, he was just like, you should take off the shorts. I mean, had it gone another hour or two, it probably would have turned into a full nude shoot.
So you should take off the pants.
Yeah. Anyway, but then I guess they did some amazing work in post, But like,
yeah, they
but
definitely kind of enhanced like the ripples and everything. They made.
I don't know. I think that's just because they're using like a $100,000 camera with nice lights and a lot of baby oil, sunscreen. Now I'm into the baby oil, but yeah, they just did their best.
I'm still waiting for my call on that one, but.
Yeah.
I think it's coming in
It
soon.
might be the AARP magazine,
The dead body issue.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
It's going to be a good one. All right. Kyle Tucker, would you ever become, interesting, weird kind of question, would you ever become a photojournalist? Would you? I kind of am. I mean, I'm a filmmaker, sort of similar.
Yeah, I would never, ever become a photojournalist because I hate taking pictures. I hate working on pictures on a computer. I hate taking videos.
Yeah, I know. On the Sufferfest, like we were like, I wanted to, because I'm making a movie and we're doing this thing, so I like handed Alex the camera for a second, so he would film me soloing a little bit, and he's all, and I basically got a bunch of footage of him complaining about how much he hates to use a camera, so he'd rather have it pointed at him, I guess.
Yeah, well, no, I'd rather have it pointed by somebody that knows what they're doing.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to deal with that stuff. I don't want to. It's not my thing.
Totally. I love it. I love the filmmaking process.
Well, that's why you make films, and that's why I don't. But.
All right, we got Landon Lucy here. Hashtag Alex Honnold. Have either of you been to Stone Summit?
Is that the one in Georgia or somewhere?
No, no. Yeah, it's in Atlanta. I have been to Stone Summit, and it is an amazing gym. It's the tallest gym in the country, I think, currently.
Really?
Yeah, yeah, and it's actually a really cool gym too because it's in such a urban hub. It's like a really diverse climbing scene, which a lot of times you don't see in climbing, which made me really happy to see. A lot of people from a lot of different backgrounds that you normally wouldn't see in climbing, and so that gym's great. And the Stone Summit's an amazing gym and it's an amazing community. And shout out, you guys.
I have not been.
You guys are awesome out there. We got love for Stone Summit for sure. You'll see Alex out there eventually. He'll come and send all the hard routes that I do.
Yeah, I wish. I wish.
Oh, this is a good one. I'm going to tell you exactly what I thought of it. What do you think of the Bear Grylls Master of Movement rock climbing video? Ah ha ha. Did you see that?
No. No, maybe I did. It's like completely retarded. That's not even a good question because it's obviously it's retarded.
It's like the vertical limit of you know what I mean?
But like even campier.
Yeah, even more absurd.
Really bad.
Bear Grylls is not a climber. Stop pretending. Anyways, moving on. All right, we got Lily Bailey. Would you consider all the new media exposure that you guys get through YouTube and short films one of the main reasons why not only your fame has grown, but the sport as a whole? That's actually a good question.
I think that
yes.
That's probably, that's basically true. Yes.
Yeah. Well, we also have Sender Films, I think, really has helped to grow the sport. And I mean, certainly I think that's the reason, I'll just be in a supermarket and someone will be like, oh my gosh, you're right. You're so amazing. And I'm like, I know. No, but that's why. I don't
think that's ever happened, has it?
No, it happens all the time. Thanks to Sender Films and stuff like this. I know you don't believe me, but it's true.
Yeah, I don't believe you.
But no, it's great. It's like, hopefully you're helping, people to have a climbing career in the future,
Yeah, well, obviously, just the industry is infinitely bigger now than it was 20 years ago. Like, everyone will have climbing careers, like, in the future.
Everyone.
Even everyone meaning, like, it is now possible to have real careers and stuff in climbing. It's just, the sport has grown, the space has grown, I mean, just like skiing and snowboarding have grown.
Totally.
You know,
No, it's
outdoor
great.
sports in general have, you know,
No, yeah,
done
like,
well.
what, 15 years ago, like a climbing career was a relatively unheard of thing. There was like, you know, like a small handful of people with climbing careers. Now it is growing and it's great. I think it's great. I mean, I think that, you know, people who are pushing it and passionate about the sport, you know, should be able to make a living inspiring others to do it and stuff. I think it's a good thing. All right, we got Juan Esteban Romero. Have you climbed in South America? If not, where would you like to climb? We have together.
So
climbed.
we've climbed together in Cochimo in Chile. I think this winter I'm going to Patagonia, so that's, you know, going to Argentina.
South
I don't know.
America's amazing.
Yeah,
Our trip to Chile was awesome.
yeah, it was a nice tour for sure.
Yeah, it was cool.
We got to sample like a lot of the best climbing all around, but yeah, I don't know.
South America's cool. We got love for South America.
Yeah.
Absolutely. What do we got? We got
Que bueno.
Yeah, que bueno. Sí,
Yeah.
mucho gusto. All right, Kyle Tucker. What are some books that have impacted you the most?
I don't know. So I answered when I was just typing out questions earlier when the feed was all messed up. I said that this summer I read the book A People's History of the U.S. Actually, that's the thing that I had with us on the bike tour when I was just
Howard
like,
Zinn, right?
yeah, Howard Zinn, A People's History of the U.S. I thought, I mean, it totally changed the way I look at U.S. government and politics and just that kind of stuff in general. I mean, I wouldn't say it's my favorite book or anything by any means, but certainly this year it's probably had the biggest influence on me.
Yeah, it's a
But then
great
I've
book.
also been reading a bunch of like oil histories and like,
And
you
oil.
know,
I
yeah,
read
with
that down
things
in
like that.
Chile.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
handed it
because
off to me.
I gave it off to you. But yeah, I read a bunch more this year. I don't know. I've been reading a lot of nonfiction, but
You always kind of seem to have some sort of nonfiction book on the line.
yeah, for sure.
And you've been mining the environmental vein for quite a while. All right, we've got Kazab123. How can you sit down with balls that big? He's actually not technically sitting. He's just hovering over his legs. His
Yeah.
balls are so big.
That's part of the thing about soloing is you develop such a high level of focus that you can actually meditate, or what is that called? Levitate is
You
what I
can
was looking for. Levitate.
It's basically
I should just be holding a plank the whole time to stay warm.
His balls are the size of coconuts. It's amazing. Yeah.
Oh, my shoulders.
All right, ask Honnold. Where's South Africa? Where in South Africa did you climb? I'm heading to Waterfall Boven in May, and would love to hear your input on the climbing there. Waterfall Boven, yeah, it's an amazing area.
So I just did a 6-week tour of Southern Africa, starting in Namibia and Spitskop, which was surprisingly good granite, and then went to Waterfall Boven, which also was surprisingly good, like better than I expected. I was very impressed, and then toured around like Bloberg and then Cape Town, Table Mountain, things like that. Yeah, I mean, it was good climbing. It's all sort of like the British style, like face climbing, protected by gear. And I mean, it's cool. You know, it's a nice change of pace. And there's some pretty big walls. I mean, nothing bigger than like 1,000 feet or so, but that's like pretty big, you know, doing 10 or 12 pitch routes
the rock
on
quality is
gear.
incredible.
And the
too,
rock
huh?
quality is like perfect.
Yeah.
So it's cool.
Some of the best rock in the world.
Yeah.
Hey Alex, what's your favorite memory of Cedar?
That's an interesting question. I don't know. What
What is your mind? You want me to tell you?
I don't know, like
don't know.
what's one.
What about when we watched that rom-com on the queen bed on the
No, see,
VHS?
that was weird, just pooped. I don't know, I'm sure we had some kind of magic moments, like, I don't know, like our first day in Chile together when we climbed that wall, you know, with Andres. And, you know, that very first route we did
Yeah.
up that weird tiered wall, and there were like condors circling, and then that goat got eaten or something.
Yeah.
And we're like, whoa. And we got to free this like 10 pitch route up granite. I mean, I feel like we had a handful of experiences like that where it's just cool, like, I don't know, that was
That's some good
memorable to me.
adventures, Yeah.
But
What
it-
about the end of Supperfest when we were on Langley and like,
No, see, that didn't do it for me.
I was all weepy-eyed and wanted to hug you.
Really?
Yeah.
No, you weren't.
No, not really.
Yeah, you weren't at all. But
Yeah. All right.
anyway,
Somebody wants to know about any experiences of the Gunks. I was just in the Gunks. Have you climbed the Gunks?
yeah, I have come in the Gunks a little bit.
It's incredible.
It was cool. I actually got like the locals tour of the bouldering at like the Lost City or something,
Lost
maybe
City
it was
bouldering?
called.
Nice.
Yeah, and it was super good, like big, tall problems, like really impressive. I was like, wow, I should come back here. The problem with the Gunks is that it's like 3-day drive to get there.
Yeah.
And so it's like, you know,
It's an amazing area for moderate soloing, like soloing high exposure. It's like a 5-6.
I saw
it's
high
incredible.
exposure. Yeah.
Yeah. That's the first thing I did was I soloed high exposure. I was like, must solo high exposure. It's incredible. You're like in a 5-6 route. It's so badass. All right, this is cool. Hey Honnold, I know you're humble. My 4-month-old son's middle name is Alexander. After you, keep on inspiring everyone. Aw, that's so nice.
Thanks.
You
Thanks.
Consider
Yeah.
changing it to Cedar. You know, it's not too late.
It's either slightly more unique, but
How about your guy's relationship with Jimmy Chin? Oh,
Jimmy Chin is unfortunately married now with a child, so our relationship has come to an end. But while I was seeing him, I really enjoyed it. But no, Jimmy is like a really good friend of both of ours.
Jimmy's a baller. He's
kind of a boss for sure.
He like hangs out with movie stars and like, you know.
Yeah.
He drinks Cristal every night, I think. Jimmy's like,
I don't know if he
Jimmy's an
drinks Cristal.
incredible National Geographic photographer and total, you know, like
Yeah.
one of the principals at Camp 4 Collective. You guys might have heard of them, and you know they make incredible movies for the North Face and other folks. And yeah, Jimmy's like he's a visionary. He's an amazing guy. And we got Toby Butterfield here. Ignoring the obvious amazing history of the area, do you feel that Joshua Tree lives up to its reputation as a world-class climbing area? I bet you we're going to argue on this.
Yeah, I'm going to give it a solid no. Joshua Tree is definitely not a world-class climbing area.
And I'm going to totally disagree with you and say that it's definitely a world-class climbing area.
But this is because Cedar is particularly biased because he spent like, what, 10 years like stoned amongst the boulders, wandering in circles, being like, it's so beautiful in the desert. Whereas I showed up there as a more objective modern climber and was like, this is chossy and painful, and it's always cold and windy.
I feel like, you know, to really appreciate climbing, you have to have a lot of heart and soul. And so maybe that's what it is. I'm not sure. But
I have no heart or soul.
There's so many incredible
No, okay. I think Joshua Tree is an amazing place. And like for Euros, it makes sense to come and visit it. And certain times of the year it's beautiful. You wouldn't want to learn there because you leave all the skin on both your hands behind, you know? It's like such a painful place to learn. The rock is just so painful there.
Yeah, I know, but I feel like it's good because it's like weaselly, like little gear, like placing RPs, like funky, like flared hand.
I'd say it's a good experience that people should have, but like compared to like going to Rodayar for a fun vacation, you don't go to Joshua Tree for vacation. You go to Joshua Tree and you have your tent blown away in like frigid winds, and then when you try to go climbing, you wind up decking because the gear is too finicky. You know, you're like, oh, that was a great vacation. I came home with 2 broken legs and no tent.
All the things that make a classic area, in my opinion. But
yeah, exactly.
I mean,
anyway.
It's not a classic unless you're decking. All right. Natasha, how would you say that? Savini?
I don't know.
Savini. Natasha wants
have we ever topped? Oh, this is a good story. So, have I ever topped out a big wall in the dark and realized that I forgot my headlamp? So, my buddy Josh and I, that I learned how to trad climb with, we climbed Asterman for the first time in February, and we topped out Asterman. And it's like short days. It's February, and we didn't have a headlamp, and we're like, oh man. And so we went down the North Dome Gully, whatever, super technical, loose rocks, whatever, into the forest. It's like pretty dark. It was like pitch black, no moon, and we just kind of like felt our way down. The white granite was like sort of glowing a little bit. You could kind of tell. And, you know, we like bumbled through the forest and made it out. Anyway, the next day, we went and climbed Skull Queen or something, which is like just around the corner. Yeah. Same feature, same descent. Forgot our headlamps the second time. the first time we intentionally didn't take headlamps because we didn't even think about it because we're like, why would we need them? You know, it's a short route. Then the second day we were like, oh, we have lamps, and then we just forgot to put them in the bag. And so we did the exact same descent in the dark 2 nights in a row, full pitch black. But I mean, I think I'm actually quite good at hiking in darkness. I love running at night and stuff and whatever.
I'm good at getting lost in the darkness.
Yeah, well.
Like circling, going in circles until the sun comes up.
Actually, one more thing for darkness. Well, so speaking of, after the plane goes by.
I think that one is going to Paris. I'm not sure though.
Yeah, last season in Yosemite, I topped something out, and we were trying to find the gun sight off Middle Cathedral. We'd like topped out Middle Cathedral, hiking off the backside, and we were like so lost in the forest, wandering around like thick woods, couldn't find this tiny narrow notch, super technical descent. And Mikey Schaefer, a friend of ours, wound up just texting me a satellite image of the whole area so that I could try to figure out where the actual gun sight was, because I was just like wandering in the woods, being like, oh gosh.
And so you found it via...
Yeah, I found it via satellite image. It was awesome.
Huh, that's killer.
But
actually, yeah. I feel like a lot of times now I forget my headlamp, but then I realize I have my iPhone, and you can like
just turn the flashlight on.
Turn the flashlight on, so the iPhone saves me.
I have yet to do that, but
I do that all the time. I'm like, oh, my iPhone again. In fact, I take the iPhone sometimes and I stuff it up in my hat, and it's like a headlamp. Little tip for you folks out there. Anyway,
that's good. That's
yeah,
good.
It works good, dude. All right, so John Callan, this is a good question. What training tips could you give someone 3 months away from their first climbing trip? Any tips once I get there? Good question.
Oh, I mean, I guess it depends on where you're going climbing, because, you know, if you're going on a bouldering trip, you should probably be training power and stuff. If you're flying to Rodayar, you should be working on your pinches, you know, getting ready for 2-foot climbing. I mean, I guess the biggest thing is just don't injure yourself before the trip. Like, don't get too overpsyched and be like, I'm going to train so hard. Because the thing is, once you're on a long climbing trip, you're going to get into good shape anyway, because you'll be climbing all the time.
Yeah.
So, you know, just stay psyched and go have fun.
And if your trip's only 3 weeks away, it's like almost like you should have been training 2 months ago in a way. You know what I mean? It's like once you're like about a week out, you almost want to start like tapering off a little
Yeah,
bit.
but didn't he say 3 months out? Or did he say 3 weeks? Well, whatever.
If
the
it's 3 months,
gone.
then yeah,
it's fine.
Yeah, you
it's
got
fine.
some time. And actually, you know, and you do quite a bit of training in the gym, don't you?
Not really.
No?
I mean, no, not really.
But the last month you've been climbing in the gym.
Yeah, but that's what I call vacation, not training.
Oh.
Training, I'd be like fingerboarding more and doing that kind of stuff. This is just going to the gym and playing.
How many days have you climbed the gym in a row? In the last...
So in the last week, I've climbed like 6 days, but like
6
two of
days
them
on,
were pretty mellow,
but
you know.
6 days on, but he's not training, folks.
Well, it's not training; it's just having fun. It's going and playing.
Yeah. But in the process of all that play, you seem to get stronger from it.
Well, that's why you should play harder, shouldn't you? Yeah. Kids at home, you should be playing hard.
We got Drew Noby. Can you give a tour of the van? Did you work the?
Did you do the work to deck it out?
There was a coffee table book of live-in dirtbag climber vans. Whose would be on the cover? Whose would be on the cover?
Well, I don't know. The thing is that once
Jonathan
it becomes a
and
really,
Brittany
really
have
nice van, it's not really dirtbag anymore.
It's not a dirtbag van. If you got a Sprinter and it cost you $60,000, are you really a dirtbag? I mean, come on.
Yeah, it's hard to say.
This is a dirtbag van. It's got 170,000 miles on it.
My van was much more dirtbag, and then I had my friend John Robinson in Sacramento, retired man. He's built a bunch of campers. He fixed out the inside for me, and now it's like much, much nicer than it used to be. But
yeah, it's a great van.
Which, you know, I was kind of like, I've been living in this for 5 years, and it's been really ghetto. I was like, it's about time for me to make it a little bit nicer. But
no, it's all
anyway.
modern. It's classic. The guy who basically fixed up his van actually was he on Zodiac?
No, it was on the nose.
On the nose, and he
of
like
El Cap.
Did he fall? He somehow ripped off his thumb, and his thumb whipped to the base of El Cap, and then his buddies found his thumb and sewed it back on.
Yeah.
That's an amazing story.
Yep.
Yeah.
His buddies didn't sew it on. The
Oh,
hospital sewed it on. Yeah.
That's not
Yeah,
true.
it was quite an extensive process involving many days in the hospital. But yeah, no, long story short, John Robinson, very tough man, got his thumb ripped off in a climbing fall, got rushed to the hospital. All his friends hung around, found his thumb in the base, and then the thumb got rushed to the hospital, and then they put it back on. And now he's like all good to go. His thumb actually works.
Thank God his thumb works, or else
Yeah.
he probably wouldn't have this amazing
It's
van
funny
right
because
now.
when he first did that, he contacted me to put him in touch with Tommy Caldwell, who also lost a finger in a climbing accident. Because John was like, oh, I don't want to have like chronic pain. I want to make sure that it still works, blah, blah, blah.
Just like get some data from someone who's been through it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah, that's cool.
somebody's driving their Harley home, it sounds like.
Nice. Harley. I like
What
the
the
Harley
heck?
sound. It's got a good rumble to it, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, this is a good one. Hashtag Ask Honnold. What are your views on spirituality, if you wouldn't mind? Thought about where your spirit came from, or would you go to afterlife on Earth? Which are so amazing at being in safe and danger. I feel like this may not be a first language speaker, but but still, what are your views on spirituality? Do you believe in an afterlife? Alex Honnold.
Dude, you're not allowed to
The
make
hard
fun of people.
questions. I mean, what are your views on spirituality? Let's keep it more general.
I'm actually extremely unspiritual. I'm basically unreligious, unspiritual. I mean, I know a lot of climbers like connect with the rock and feel a spiritual connection to nature and all that kind of stuff, and I'm just like not into it. I just have no interest at all. Yeah, very strongly unreligious, unspiritual.
He has no soul, folks.
Yeah,
But luckily,
I definitely have no soul,
I have
no
enough
spirit.
soul for the both of us. I'll hold it down.
Right.
No, actually, but he says that, but at the same time, Alex is a caring guy. He's cares
Well, I
about
feel like I
family,
can have no
friendship.
spirit or no soul and still be caring.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, totally. Yeah, you're a good. Yeah, I don't know, but yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're.
I'm pretty much soulless. That's fine. That's fine.
Alex Honnold,
Well, in
no
the
soul,
religious sense of the word, you know.
Incredibly strong arms, though. All right, Joe Smith. Hey, Alex. I would like to know I'd like you to know that I have a life-size portrait of your face tattooed on my lower back. That's baby.
That's
Send it in.
that's nice.
Why didn't you tattoo my face on your lower back? That would have been so much cooler. Oh my god, I hope that is not true.
No, that's obviously not true.
Yeah, alright. If that were true, that's just.
So I met a guy in South Africa that had his own face on each of his butt cheeks.
Someone wanted to know how you felt about the Yosemite Rangers.
I've actually had good experiences with the Rangers. Like the whole Ranger climber conflict is like not as big a conflict if you never break any of the rules, you know. So that's easy enough. I mean, you know, I've gotten pulled over for things, but they've always just sort of given me a warning. Like they always check in to make sure I'm not camping illegally. But
Which you never do. You never camp.
yeah, I never camp illegally. I never steal anything.
Do you sometimes take flights places?
I do occasionally fly on airplanes, and they're quite loud when I fly on them. Yes.
Can you guys hear those airplanes at home? I'm curious. I bet you can. Yeah. No. Let's move on here. Scariest experience while soloing. Honest answer. Scariest experience while soloing.
I don't know. I mean, I've had a bunch of experiences where I like pull a hold off, or like last year or 2 years ago or something, I pulled a hold off of Royal Arches, like a super classic moderate in Yosemite, and like peeled this flake back and then like shoved the flake back into place before it or me fell backward. I'm just kind of like, oh, crazy. But I mean, a lot of those things happen so fast that like it's not even really that scary. It just happens, done, and you're just like, whoa, that was crazy. You know, but by then nothing has happened, so.
What about Sheen's Petrus?
Well, that wasn't really soloing. That was on the descent, technically.
On the descent, technically.
Yeah. I mean, I've had a lot of like scrambling adventures where I'm like bushwhacking through the mountains, or with you on the bike tour, I pulled the block off and like the block went down my arm and then hit my leg, and I like fell onto a ledge below, and then, well, basically like jumped onto the ledge below me and then jumped again to the ledge below that, and then stuck the second ledge. But, you know, that was probably on third or fourth class or something. But those kinds of things just happen, you know? It's like if you're outdoors all the time, you're bound to like fall over and like get hit by rocks, and I mean, stuff will happen.
No,
like
totally.
that's life, you know?
Yeah, no, I was soloing Rupert, and I like reached up to grab this giant block, and like this, like literally this block, like that big, just like came off the wall, and I was like,
Yeah.
And then my thought was like, I hope that like I can still go up, you know? 'Cause I didn't like plop some keyhole, but then luckily it was like fine, like I passed it, but it wasn't like my best.
Yeah, I mean, that stuff just happens. It's just part of climbing.
Yeah, you just gotta be on it.
Okay, here's a question.
All right,
how do I
so
pass
beginners.
slower climbers on big walls while free soloing? This is actually kind of interesting. I don't know if you had the same experience, but like when I pass climbers on like really, really easy terrain, like on really easy routes, they're normally more freaked out and more uncomfortable and more like, oh, what are you doing? Oh God, like don't do that.
Yeah.
But when you pass people on like really hard routes, they're generally like, oh, cool, you know, have fun, like let me get out of the way, like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So like passing people on the rostrum or Astroman, you know, people just like move to the side, let you go through, they give you a sip of water, whatever, you know, they're like super nice. But then I've had people on like Royal Arches or Serenity Suns be like, no, I don't think you should go by, like I don't know, you know, and you're like, dude, it's fine, I'm going by.
Yeah. But a lot of times in that case, you can just like, you're by them by the time they freak out, like, I feel like.
Yeah.
Or you can like find some other, like it's so low angle, you can just kind of do some variation around them or something like that.
Yeah.
Nice. Remember that time that when we were down soloing that route and you told me it was 5.6 and they're like, oh, you guys are on the 5.9 variation.
Oh no, but they were incorrect,
that was
I think.
Funny. That
Yeah.
was. All right. Anyways, Brian.
It was like 5.7.
When the van's rocking, does Cedar still knock? That's dirty. But you know, I am a team player. All right, Raul Vega. Hey guys, do you take the time to talk to fans, and does that humble you guys?
Actually, what humbles me is when the kids in the bouldering gym are like, I'm so psyched to meet you, and then they flash my project, like, you know, or they campus my project, and I'm like, huh, well, like, isn't that the irony?
You're like, I'm psyched to meet you too.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's kind of the thing. It's like, yeah, it's easy to stay humble when you go into the gym and like everybody climbs harder than you, and you're like, huh, well, you know.
There's always someone better out there.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I mean, always in climbing.
But it's cool. It's cool to meet people who are psyched to meet you and who have been personally inspired by you in some way. And you obviously don't want to be a jerk and like let them down. You want to be like, yeah, I'm actually a cool guy in person too, and like, you know, give them some props, get them psyched for the adventures ahead. You know, we got Brendan Coach, I guess. Ask Honnold. So I know you've climbed Cobra Crack 514. How hard have you climbed in the sport realm?
The sport realm.
The sport realm.
That sounds extreme. I've climbed like a couple routes that are supposedly 14C. You know, they were kind of soft, probably. But
you knee-barred past the crux, I heard.
yeah, I basically knee-barred. Oh no, honestly, I basically knee-barred past the cruxes. But I've definitely climbed solid 14B or 8C. You know, the thing is, I've never been like that strong of a sport climber.
Yeah.
But the stuff that I like to do, the big walls and the scrambling and all the adventure-y type stuff, is just, it's so different than hard sport climbing.
So
But
there's a lot of technique involved. There's a whole mental aspect involved. It's like, it's kind of more of a package than like sport climbing, which is so, it's more one-dimensional. It's all about basically like how many crimpers you can grab with your hands and stuff. And there's less of that mental and kind of like psychological aspect to it. Quick van tour, van life series. Oh yeah, we just want to plug the fact that the van life series is coming out with Goal Zero, and it's coming out in January. You're going to be able to tour Alex's van. You're going to see all of the dirty details of his van, where the magic happens.
wait,
back there.
are we actually supposed to show the van a little bit? Okay, so we're moving the camera.
We're gonna,
huh?
yeah, let's show people the van. Let's show it off, dude.
Well, there's
Let's
not
see.
a whole lot to show.
And remember
Okay.
that you're wired in. So
I know. I'm wired. Is that thing still working? Because it's blinking weird.
that means it's recording.
Hello, computer. Is this actually working?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, so here's the van. Here's the van. Got some nice lights inside it. This is all John Robinson's craftsmanship. He's quite a gifted maker of things. Kitchen, water, battery, fridge, foyer. It's kind of tidy right now because we just shot a little thing about van life and I tidied up a little bit. Is this?
Yeah, no, that's cool.
Yeah, I'm killing it. Okay, let's go back to questions.
Yeah, let's get back. I think yeah, let's maybe before we wrap things up.
Yeah, just
Maybe let's just I don't know, like what would you want to leave people with? You know what I mean? What like any wisdom that or even lack of wisdom that you'd like to.
I mean, I don't have a whole lot of wisdom to throw down on anybody.
Yeah. It works out to all the people out there.
I guess just do what you're psyched on. Just follow your passion, that kind of thing. But that stuff is so cliche. I hate to be like, my word of wisdom is to do what you love. But like, I guess that's all I got.
I mean, what else are you gonna do but what you love?
Well, I mean, some people just
maybe. I think a lot of people know you for your soloing, and for the ropeless climbing and stuff. I mean, what is your what do you do mentally to prepare for something like that? 'Cause I feel like a lot of people want to know, like, what do you do to get ready for like a big solo? I mean,
I wouldn't say that I actively do anything to prepare for a big solo, but the main thing is that if something is inspiring enough, I wait for this plane to go by.
Yeah, totally. You definitely don't solo when there's lots of planes up above you.
Sure, it's a big plane.
There it goes. Yeah, it's a big old jetliner.
Yeah.
Big old jetliner.
So, yeah, I don't actively do anything. I mean, I guess the main thing is that if something is inspiring enough, then I sort of ruminate on it, then it festers in my mind and I get excited about it and I get psyched and then, I visualize it though. I mean, it's not like I think to myself like, okay, now it's time to visualize my goal. It's more that I just think about it all the time because I'm super excited about it. And then, that process of thinking about it, fantasizing about it, that sort of prepares you mentally for like doing what you want to do. And then eventually you just make that fantasy come true. Ooh.
And then how's that feel when you make a fantasy come true like that?
Oh, I mean, it's pretty awesome. I mean, it's a little different every time. It depends how much you've been thinking about something, how significant the objective is to you. And then, I mean, in general, the more you put into something, the more you get out of it. And so,
no, absolutely.
Like when I first soloed Half Dome, I'd been thinking about it that whole summer and like it'd been festering in my mind. I was like, oh, I really want to do that. And then when I finally did it, it was, quite an experience. But
it was a life-changing experience, you might say.
Yeah, I suppose. Kind of.
I think, huh? Right? I mean.
Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily say that the same way. I don't know. Going to Chad was maybe
more.
I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it led to 60 minutes and 60 minutes.
Well, yeah, okay, yeah. In terms of yeah.
You being extremely famous.
Led to me sitting in a parking lot with frozen toes. Yes.
It all led to this moment.
Yes.
Well, it's been I think it's been a lot of fun. Doing this live event.
I sort of feel bad for all the questions that I didn't get to. Is there a way that I can answer some of the stuff online later if I want, or like whatever?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, Alex is going to be.
Because just for anybody who's upset that I skipped your question, I wasn't really choosing questions. We just can only see this little screen that's scrolling by.
Yeah.
So hopefully I'll have a chance to respond to some people, because I'm sure there's some in there that I think are really good.
Yeah, I'm sure.
That aren't about like tattooing my face on their back, because that's actually not so significant. Let's say.
I don't know. That's pretty significant if it's true.
It's definitely not true.
You might come knocking on your van door soon, being like, Alex. Anyways, but no, it's been a pleasure, huh?
Yeah.
And lots of love to everyone out there in the climbing and the greater community, and of course a big thank you to Goal Zero Climbing and the North Face Climbing Magazine, that is, for making this event possible, and thank you to all of you for watching, and just much love and for your journey, and have a good time out there. And Alex Honnold, folks, he's a good dude. He's a good friend, and so I think you saw that probably tonight during this live event. So that's
Thanks, everybody.
Yeah, over and out. Good night,
and
guys.
now I can just get in the van and peace out.
Yeah, exactly. He's
like,
sleep
and
right
I'm out of here. Just pull the mic off and just
yeah,
start driving.
He's ready to go to sleep.
Are we killing this? How can we just